Valero,
Nice
and
to
our
be here.
editor-in-chief, Jeff Kleiman, who are going to take over for me. And I'm going to come back a little bit later on. Hope you don't miss me. All right, bye.
Great, thanks, Ray. Had a chance to hear some really great brands there and some really interesting stuff. Okay.
Hi, I hope everyone is enjoying their lunchtime conversation.
Yeah, it's been great so far. Been really interesting stuff. And here we are with our next guest. How's it going, Ryan?
Great, how you doing?
Very well. We have Ryne O'Donnell here from Solti. It's a pleasure to have you here. How's it going?
Great, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It looks like you brought a bottle with you as well.
I did, yes.
Which is important because that is a pretty spectacular bottle, I have to say.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you of one of those old school canteens, you know?
Yeah.
It is. That's I believe that's a proprietary bottle. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a proprietary bottle. It's a 300-gram glass bottle. It has our logo on the bottom. And we designed it and then did some drop testing and noticed that it has really good structural integrity, so we're excited about that.
That must have been fun.
Yeah.
To be honest, doing the drop testing had to be real fun.
I would like to do some drop testing right here
Yeah.
in the Lowe's atrium. That'd actually be football pass testing. Quick question. You guys use some interesting processing methods on this. Can you talk about them a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. We use UV light filtration technology, and we also use aseptic filling. So, both of those combined together give us incredible aroma, incredible flavor, extend the shelf life. It's also one of the least evasive processing techniques out there. So, I think it's a winner.
What's the first step? Is the first step the aseptic, or is it the UV light?
Yeah, so the process is a little bit unique throughout. We make juice, but we also make super aids, we make cold brew tea, we make other liquids of vitality, we make really nourishing beverages. So juice is the classic line, and the process is unique throughout. It's atmosphere controlled and temperature controlled in the process room. We're using sanitary pumps throughout. These are some things that help with cleanliness, help with flavor, nutrient counts, aroma. And then after that, it's bulk mixed into bulk containers or bright tanks. And after the mixture final recipe is done, it goes through UV light filtration, then into another bulk tank, then into an aseptic filler where the other half of the magic happens.
And that's when you guys add the naturally homegrown listeria, right? That's just a little Hasek joke there.
Yeah. So regarding Hasek, the key thing is achieving 5 log reduction on the pertinent pathogens. So, we're seeing 5 to 10 log reduction on E. coli, Salmonella, Listeria. So food safety is key for sure, but also retaining the product's original nature is very important. The nutrients and the enzymes, keeping it cold, keeping it alive.
We got a chance to see a little bit of that when we actually had a chance to visit the new facility. It looks great, and there's a lot of pretty impressive technology that's going into that, and the glass itself, I think, is pretty interesting. That's like a commitment that you guys have made to doing glass bottles. Why was that so important for you guys?
Yeah, so this is a huge deal. I mean, we were committed to glass from the very beginning. So if you look at some other products on the market, they're made out of plastic. Plastic is made out of petroleum, however you want to slice it. So there's plenty of scares out there where people were afraid of leaving plastic water bottles in their car because of leaching problems. Well, water has a pH of 6.5 to 8.5. So you think about that pH, it's pretty basic. Juice has a pH of 2.5 or 3 to 4.5 or 5.
Much higher.
That's pretty acidic, right? So if you're using a petroleum-based plastic bottle and you're throwing an acidic liquid in, what do you think's happening to the sidewalls of the plastic bottle? So we took the stand that it's got to be glass or nothing, and so we started out with glass. We figured out the technology to get through 5 log reduction, and we're committed to glass from here on out.
What does that retail for?
This is $6.99.
Okay, and so that's not bad. So you saved on HPP while bringing in a more expensive package, right?
Yeah. I mean, the capital costs of a plant of our size are pretty similar if you're going to go HPP or if you're going to go with UV and aseptic.
Yep.
Aseptic fillers are
they ain't cheap either.
7-figure equipment, right? But the philosophy is much different. When you're talking about high pressure pasteurization or pasteurization in general, you're basically doing whatever you want on the process side knowing that your back end sterilization step is going to take care of any issues you had in the process side. Our philosophy is the opposite. We want to be very gentle throughout the process, and then we want to be gentle on the sterilization and super gentle on the filling, which is why we went with an aseptic filler, similar to what dairy companies use, which is one of the most bacteria-prone beverages in the world.
You know, we talked a lot. We're talking quite a bit about packaging, but that's actually really important beyond that because that's a very eye-catching part of your marketing. The bottle itself, sort of emphasizing the ingredients. How do you sort of create that differentiation in the cold pressed juice category, which is obviously has a lot of competition?
Yeah, so creating differentiation is pretty simple. We're not out to educate everybody on UV. If they want to be educated on UV, they can go to our website and look at our FAQ.
I kind of doubt it, but yeah.
Or they can ask us, right? We'll let them know. But really, it's all about getting a price point that's available to the consumer, which $9 is not, and $6.99 is much more in the zone. Getting it in glass and getting it on the shelf next to the others. And when we do that, we win time and time again. So we look forward to scaling that up.
Are you concerned that the amount of money that it takes to move that many glass bottles around is going to be a limiting factor toward scaling?
Yeah, I would ask the same question to GT's Kombucha or some of the kombucha companies, along with Ballast Point Brewing Company or any of the craft breweries. They move quite a bit of glass, so I don't
They
think
do,
it's
but
be a challenge.
Ballast Point decided they would move into cans as well, right? And I mean, I know you guys are backed by Ballast Point ducats, correct?
Yeah.
And that is wonderful. I think it's a good response. I just wonder if you guys are starting to factor that in.
Yeah, so I mean, the cost of glass bottles when you get to scale is about 8 pennies more than the cost of plastic. So we've certainly figured it in, but when you get to 150 million in revenue or so, is when you start hurting from freight. And at that point, you can build other plants in other geographic locations.
That makes sense.
And
you have my approval.
Yeah.
obviously, besides the financial contributions, it sounds like Ballast Point has also had a sort of a helpful impact on technology and sort of guiding you through the best practices, processes, sort of how have they really helped beyond the financial aspect?
Yeah, we're really lucky in this regard of our partners. And before Ballast Point, it went much deeper. We were able to forge relationships in the beginning. Good Nature is the #1 press manufacturer for beverage and juice companies worldwide. And Charlie Wetlaufer backed us back in 2014 when we were just getting UV going. And then after that, we had some success in multi-retail chains and Mother's Market, and the founder, Bruce McGurn and Stelios, were willing to back us. And then it moved into Ballast Point. And so I met Jim Beekler about a year ago, late December of last year. And Jim Beekler was the CEO of Ballast Point Brewing Company. And he brought me in to introduce me to Jack White, which now I've forged a relationship with, and Earl Kite, who is their chief commercial officer. And those three then put me in a room. After we did a lot of back and forth, I was actually looking for advice. I said, hey, Jim, I've seen what you've done at Ballast Point. I want to learn from the best. What can we do to get together? And so we got together. They toured our facility in Huntington Beach. They said, hey, this reminds us a lot of Ballast Point, where you're making the best product out there. It doesn't scale right away, but it scales in the mid and long term. And so we'd like to see what we can do. So they put me in a room with all of their vice presidents, and it was magical, man. We in the end had 10 of their vice presidents invest in us, and
that's great.
There's resources, on the personnel side. That's unbelievable.
Well, Ryne,
Fantastic.
Unfortunately, we got to kick you out of
Yeah, no
our
problem.
room.
Thanks
But
so much
thank
for stopping
you so
by.
much for coming by. And good
Thanks.
luck.
Best
Good
of
luck
luck.
with Solti.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Here you go. This is for you, Mark.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to hold this up real quick so everyone can see it.
While
That's
Marty
Solti.
shows that, we're going to get our next
Yes.
speaker on board, and we're also going to give
Hello.
How are